Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexa, and in today's video we are going to be doing cozy things. You guys know that I have desperately been trying to channel fall vibes in an attempt to escape the gripping heat that Los Angeles is currently experiencing. So we are gonna go to Trader Joe's. We may or may not be doing a little fall haul. We are also going to be trying out a new recipe, and I'm going to attempt to make apple cider donuts. It could be a huge fail or they could be extremely delicious. We will just have to see. And throughout this video, I am going to be reading a book off of my fall TBR, which is going to be Bride by Ali Hazelwood, werewolf vampire love story. I think that's all I have to say for now, so let's jump in and start doing cozy things. Okay, I'm back from Trader Joe's and I'm gonna show you guys everything that I got. I do most of my grocery shopping at a different grocery store than Trader Joe's, and then I will go to Trader Joe's and just get like random fun things or like my Trader Joe's must-haves. The reason that I do this is because I feel like Trader Joe's is always so congested. I feel like I am in every single person's way when I am at Trader Joe's. Like, I love the vibes of Trader Joe's and the products that they have, but pretty much anytime I'm there, I want to leave as soon as possible. So I literally only go there for a handful of my favorite things. And then of course, you guys know that since it is the fall season, they have special fall treats, which obviously I have to buy and I have to try. So I have 3 must-haves in here. First one is these steamed chicken soup dumplings. These are so delicious. Words cannot describe how delicious these are. They're so fast and easy to make for lunches or dinners. I have to have these in my freezer at all times. Another thing I have to have in my freezer at all times, the vegetable gyoza. I usually make those as an appetizer with basically any Asian dish that I make at home. These are so good as well. And my last staple in this haul is the non-dairy oat creamer, the brown sugar flavor. I think they also have a cinnamon bun flavor, and I do not like that one. It sounded amazing and I did try it, but it was not as good as it sounded. This will always be my #1 Trader Joe's creamer. Next, I got some pumpkin ice cream. I'm not usually a huge ice cream person, but with how hot it has been, I have really been enjoying having a cold treat after dinner. Helps me cool down. And like, it is delicious. I just have really sensitive teeth, so I don't usually like super cold stuff in my mouth. But with how hot it is, I'm willing to look past that and eat some ice cream. Next one, I have had these before, maple leaf cookies. They are so good. If you've ever had the Trader Joe's maple butter, it kind of tastes like they put some of that in the cream filling. They're really good. They're pretty much just like a golden maple fall Oreo. Next, I absolutely love every single pretzel mix thing that Trader Joe's sells. And then I saw that they have pumpkin spice teeny tiny pretzels. I'm actually gonna try these right now. Oh my gosh, they are teeny tiny. Those are really good. Last thing I got is spiced cider. Now Trader Joe's actually has some really good apple cider donuts, but I've been wanting to try and make my own apple cider donuts, so that is what this is for. Okay, here's what's gonna happen. I have the audiobook of Bride by Ali Hazelwood on Libby, and I think I have to return it tomorrow. So I think I'm going to start listening to this while I make the apple cider donuts. We'll see how far into this I get, and then we will see what I decide to do after that, but that is the plan for now. So let's make some apple cider donuts. Hopefully this is a success. apple cider donuts are done, and I have made it to chapter 6, which is page 86. I am really liking the book so far. I mentioned this in my fall TBR video, but I have never read Twilight or the Vampire Diaries or anything like that, and so this is truly like one of my first vampire stories I'm ever reading. I'm liking it so far. I like the world a lot, as well as the politics, which I wasn't expecting to be like a huge part of the book, but it is, and I'm really liking it. I'm gonna give these a taste test. These are so good, and I'm gonna link the recipe in the description if anybody wants to try and make these. I think they recommend using a donut pan to make these because they're baked and not fried, but I didn't have a donut pan, so I just used a regular muffin tin, and then I used an extra wide straw to cut out holes in the center. I mean, if we're being honest, it's basically just an apple cider muffin, but for whatever reason, these having a hole cut out of the center makes them more special than if they were just muffins. Like, saying you made donuts sounds a lot more complicated than if you made muffins. So, all right, I'm gonna finish cleaning up, and then I'm going to go get cozy and continue reading Bride. A little reading update. I'm in the middle of chapter 8 right now. I'm on page 108. Pretty much all I knew about this book going into it is that it is a paranormal romance between a vampire and a werewolf. The rest of it, I was like, I think I'll just kind of go in blind and hopefully the book explains what it needs to explain. I really don't know that much about vampires and werewolves, but it has done such a good job at establishing both of the species. This whole world in this book is super interesting because there are basically vampires, werewolves, and humans all living in the same world. I don't know if there's any other species around. It hasn't come up yet, but so far I think it's just the 3 of those. In the prologue, we start out with a scene of a wedding that is in the future. Then we flash back to like the present day. Obviously this book is called Bride, so it's kind of implied that there was gonna be some kind of wedding, some kind of marriage, some kind of something. But yeah, there's a lot of politics in the beginning of this book. It's not too complicated, but I know if I try to explain it, it's not gonna make any sense. But in the simplest terms that I can think of, essentially the werewolves and the vampires are at odds. They are not cool with each other. There's some political things that are going wrong in the world that they live in, and there are some promises that are being broken, some deals that are expiring, different things like that going on. We have our main female character who is a vampire. Her name is Misery Lark. And then we have our main male character who is a werewolf, and his name is Lo Moreland. So essentially, Misery's family has a lot of power in the vampire world. Her dad basically figures out a deal with the werewolves where they are going to marry off Misery to one of the werewolves, who happens to be Lo. And at the part of the book that I am at, she's basically being used as collateral, meaning if anything goes wrong between the 2 species, Misery is pretty much going to end up dead. So they're trying to basically use this marriage as a symbol of peace between the two species. She's supposed to stay married for the next year. And as far as the marriage is going right now, I would not say it's great, but I'm sure that things are going to progress positively between them. I am about this far into the book, so I'm going to keep on reading, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this today, but if not today, then I will finish it tomorrow, and I will include a clip of my final thoughts and possibly a rating. So yeah, I'm going to keep on reading. Okay, I finished Bride. I'm gonna do a little get ready with me while I wrap up all my thoughts about this book. You can't see it, but I have a little mirror in front of me, so that's where I'm looking. But first of all, I wanted to say this yesterday, but I completely forgot. But there was kind of a big plot point going on that I didn't talk about yesterday. There was the whole marriage and politics thing, but there was also kind of a missing person case going on. I won't go too in depth about it just because I don't want to give any spoilers or anything. It kind of added like an extra element to the plot. Like we weren't just focused on a politics heavy world, and we also weren't just focused on a romance. We also had this other interesting subplot, and there were also a lot of character relationships that almost acted like subplots, kind of like with the siblings in the book. So yeah, I feel like there was plenty going on to keep me entertained plot-wise. I think there were maybe like a few too many characters. Like there were a few points where they kept bringing up certain people's names and I was like, who are you again? I think with like the wolf pack and the vampire community, there were kind of just too many like irrelevant side characters. It wasn't like a huge deal or anything. I was kind of just like, why do we keep bringing up all these random people that are not very necessary to this story? Because there was already a lot of characters that were relevant to the story, so that just felt a little overdone for me. I will say one of my favorite parts was whenever she saw him as a werewolf for the first time. It was so cute, so funny. I absolutely loved that part. I will say, as far as the spice goes in this book, if you are sensitive to spice or you don't like spice in your books, you are not going to like this book. Ali Hazelwood says that Not in Love is her like spiciest book. I don't know, maybe I'm just like delusional or I'm misremembering, but I kind of feel like this book is more so that way than Not in Love. I feel like most of it though relates enough to the plot that it didn't really feel super out of place or anything. I mean, it's a vampire and a werewolf, so it's definitely different than anything I've ever read before, but maybe I'm just weird, but it didn't really bother me that much. Honestly, I was kind of just indifferent about it. But yeah, with all that being said, I would not read this book if you don't like spice. But anyways, one more thing that I want to talk about is kind of towards the end of the book, when things started to unravel. I feel like the book did this annoying thing where it kind of started to tell me what was happening rather than show me what was happening. Like I felt like for the most part it did a pretty good job at showing me what was happening, and I kind of had to piece things together and figure things out for myself. But then towards the end we kind of lost that, and I just feel like in the last 75 pages or so, I feel like I was kind of just getting told what was happening instead of being shown what was happening on the pages. So that did kind of bother me a little bit at the end. I feel like I can't talk about it too much just because of course I don't want to spoil the ending. Actually, I just remembered one more thing that I want to say. If anybody else read this book, I want to know if you think at the end of the epilogue it was a hint that we're going to get another book in this universe. Because that's kind of what it felt like to me, but I also couldn't really tell. So I would love to know your thoughts if you have read it. But yeah, I think those are all of my thoughts that I wanted to share about Bride by Ali Hazelwood. It's definitely not something that I would usually pick up, but since it was by Ali Hazelwood and I've already read a ton of her books prior to this one coming out, like of course I was interested to pick it up, see what it was all about. So yeah, with all of that being said, I think I'm going to land on 3 stars for this book. Again, if anyone else has read this, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And now I'm gonna go film the intro to this video, so just pretend like you didn't already see me looking like this. And that is gonna be all for this video. If you guys liked it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below letting me know anything you wanna let me know. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram and make sure that you are subscribed so that you can see more videos from me in the future. But for now, that is all, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!